Welcome to Tidbit Talkin. Here's some ideas about boatloads of entertainment media. Some serious, others not so much. Generally only spoilers for whatever's currently featured, and a bit of vague references to other things in a shared universe. Now with all of that out of the way, here we go. These caves acting as safe havens could very well be caused by a magical spell the Hyrule people concocted that wards off demons in small spaces. This old man must have carried that first sword with him until said sorcery got developed. Dude fought hard his entire life up until that point and doesn't want anybody else to experience those horrifying events which occurred before he was sufficiently armed. In instances where a potion gets taken, the heart container vanishes forever because that kooky great feat creates physical might increasing supernatural item wizardry contained within every Zelda universe inhabitant. Can also will away challenge-reducing hoopla. Specifically, this happens when overbearing cockiness surpasses every other emotion. The letter isn't a prescription, it's instructions on how to brew this medicine. Simple gambling dens are on display here instead of shooting galleries and other active minigames sort of whatnot because gathering materials to make a true spectacle shop is too dangerous in these parts, especially when one attempts such things alone. Nowadays, this cruel world doesn't allow for physics-defying tailors to easily gather materials. Thus, fashioning mystical enhancing garments in tinier packages became absolutely necessary. This kind of dire need resulted in much metaphysical research that eventually led to ensemble shade altering enchanted rings being invented. Bracelets such as these may become powerful by absorbing the stamina expended during close-by battles. Thus, they often get long-term stashed near rather tough enemy swarms to ensure proper charging comes about. A precision push demanding stone puzzle blocks these underground shortcut paths because they are too spacious to enchant with that previously mentioned protective barrier. This is good security because most monsters are too large to wear human-body-designed universe law-hacking accessories. Straight up busting the rocks into pieces would probably just make those caves below collapse, instead of unlocking secret nature floor doors, because a fantasy equivalent to pressure-sensitive tiles is hanging out nearby. This senior sir simply doesn't want his more valuable blade handed off to someone with a greater chance of dying. Hence him not giving it away until encountering a warrior who's proven himself by generating enough impressive accomplishment-produced health magic power-up deals. There are so many everywhere working keys widely available because the labyrinth were originally underground shelters filled with soldiers protecting those coveted Triforce of Wisdom shards. All the locks would of course be identical just in case an employee transfer was desperately needed. The shopkeepers are retired fighters who got too injured to continue and escaped with their rationed stashes. Also, just about everybody fled because their princess gave an order that her capture means they should all get out of there. These are not regular arrow bundles being sold here, but rather just one with some runes carved into it that when read aloud sacrifices a rupee to duplicate it. A relative abundance of Salfos lurks in these dungeons because they are the guards who didn't have a chance to live on as merchants. This is also why they are often so casually carrying entrance-enabling equipment. These cordoned-off treasure areas were originally arsenals filled with multiples of each weapon tool. Only one remains after the people evacuated because a specific royal decree section made sure a single thing was left in each so the awaited hero could be adequately armed. Container nabbing doesn't grant a full recovery this time around because the fear of this deadened land has weakened the associated magic just a tad. Fairies don't freeze because they are an ageless species that doesn't grasp time in a way identical to other beings. This aquatic stepladder doodad is necessary in some areas because that raft is enchanted in such a way which the thing only maintains limitless durability if it's exclusively used on water bodies with notably fast currents. Store managers change their clothes with their own finger fluff after Link does because they understand how dangerous things now are if the only remaining fighter is more armored. They'll never sell a red one because they are simply too rare to put on floor shelves. Taking out the extra teleporting recorders which formerly rested alongside this example was simply too risky since enemies swiping one would really suck. Thus, a spell got cast that banished them all into another dimension. Impa must have taught the lone hero this trademark tune that causes warping and heavily hampers Dig Dogger. Movement halting kills Wizros because their atoms are inherently highly unstable in order to constantly warp via their natural abilities. Hence, being forced into a state of absolute rest just renders them unable to go on in any capacity whatsoever. This water has some sort of ethereal tide junk going on that lets it get absorbed by the transporting tornado. These particular dungeon-dwelling aged fellows who help him hold more bombs learned their explosive carry catapulting incantations from the last fleeing Gorons right before they ditched this country for some other mountains. Also, all seniors hanging out in dungeons are highly experienced soldier sages who were too stubborn to leave on Zelda's command. Every monster eats, of course, it's just that this one happens to be too lazy and or currently fatigued to hunt scavenge for sustenance himself. The red candle can continuously combust because it produces more than one flame. That blue one simply gets let loose and then dispersed throughout an area as much less hot light particles and returns to from whence it came once the user can no longer see where said thing was originally unleashed. This spell book was kept front door closed because its writer knew that the magic detailed within can make a certain wand less useful in situations where fire doesn't help. Missing Monarch must have mystical malarkeyed this entrance so that Smart Holy Triangle can open it as soon as Ganon captured her and started questioning her about the split artifact's whereabouts. Also, Zelda had a endlessly money-reproducible silver arrow and red ring on her, and hid them here after getting too exhausted from fighting off the Demon King alone. She attempted to stall him so he couldn't escape by wielding the two together. She also must have defeated a lot of boss prototypes before they got sent out into the world to search for certain shards during those pre-Wise Wall days. Thankfully, that Royal Rumble wasn't completely pointless, as although it didn't immediately end with a Ganon defeat, the sadistic swine sir got left in a weakened state which was incapable of waging war throughout the land, since he couldn't make it out before getting locked up with her. His vulnerable condition is also why he can't handle that many stabbings. Her Highness's clothes changed because she's connected to that Triforce which just got collected by a certain new swagger-proud gentleman. After waging war with several armies possessing massive magical might, this land's people performed many supernatural stamina store salary-seeking experiments, which led to some societal iterations, merging normally metabolically regenerating physical fuel with its mystic counterpart, as seen in A Link Between Worlds. Not wanting to worry about getting regularly worn out more easily as a result of being stressed by double the drain-causing activity, folks eventually sought a way cash can get spent instead. Also, this whole wanting to make enemies too drained to use spells, causing unintentional own mystic ammo usage related discoveries deal might have first started by interrogating certain bat dudes who alter such abilities after waking up. On a related note, sacrificing money to make item duplicates like with pointy flying death things instead of keeping many extras lying around makes things notably lower danger level wise because there's less stealable junk available for eager demon thieves. The considerably dire world today is what made globetrotting so demanding that complete life storage watches are always produced by impressiveness doing instead of mere pieces. The Minish must have stuck to hiding those warmer shaded higher value rupees in places with actual towns and whatnot. Also, singles are flashing this time around because of that magic which uses them for ammo. Damaged parts left over after various Ocarina of Time repairs and other chronology hacking rock associated remodeling must have been forged into these tiny everything freezing stopwatches scattered throughout the land. Endings are a pain, but all of you are fantastic. See ya.